Talk Show.
Recorded live.
Donald Trump. I think I kind of remember him. But
hey, he hosted WrestleMania 4 and 5. The only time
also, he was on WrestleMania 23 2 years ago. Yeah, I don't. It's the summer, and then obviously viewership drops a little bit in the summer. Maybe they're trying something new, seeing if it sticks. I don't know. It's odd. Let's just put it that way.
1824 is not going to come in and watch Donald Trump.
Nope.
Terrible pre-tape, by the way. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, that's another thing. Have him on live. How difficult is that?
Well, he'll be live in Green Bay next Monday night for the commercial free Raw.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm intrigued by this. Everyone thought it was going to be Ric Flair. It obviously wasn't. I'm intrigued by this. They did something different. Now, a lot of people bash WWE for the same thing, rehashing over and over again. This is different, so shouldn't it be something
different? They just did it 2 years ago, and he mentioned it at the end. Well, and then it kind of cut off.
They didn't do it 2 weeks ago. He was part of the show 2 years ago.
2 years ago, and then Donald goes into the. I remember when I cut your hair, and like, oh no, and then Vince is apologetic. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit right now. I might change my mind in a couple weeks, but on the surface right now, it doesn't fit.
Meathead, your thoughts?
Hey, welcome to the program. Yeah, it was really odd. You know, Donald again. It was very clear and very obvious that it was a pre-tape because Vince kept trying to interrupt, and maybe Vince didn't even watch the pre-tape to know when his cues were, when he was supposed to talk, when he was supposed to jump in. I mean, it was just very odd.
Randy Orton is, again, the WWE champion. Why did Batista win the belt?
To make Randy Orton a stronger champion.
Did it?
I think so.
I think so, too. Like I said, it puts more heat with Orton now.
How long was that match?
Which match?
The four-way?
Probably went about 10, 15 minutes.
Which Big Show should have won.
The introductions may have been as long as the match.
This is
when
what
you
bothers
include
me
the commercial break.
It's kind of like the waiting before to get on the air. We're going to be waiting more than we were on the air, but go, Frank.
I liked that match. I thought it went over well with the exception of Cena's finisher, which I'm not going into anymore. But that match was good, but it was almost something that you would see on a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And you're watching it on Raw. At least I'm watching it. I'm thinking, well, hey, I now see a title change in a way, and I didn't have to pay for it. Technically,
don't you think it would have been better if Triple H would have got screwed, and he's the guy that would have lost where Orton pins him?
Yeah,
it just makes the chase that much better.
I agree.
It tastes better
if
you do it that way.
Yeah.
I also miss, by the way, Howard Finkel going and no.
Lillian just can't hit that low note like he could.
Who, by the way, is leaving the company shortly as well.
Finkel?
JR's blog said she's not.
Her contract is up at the end of the year.
JR's blog said she's not.
Well, of course not. But she's leaving.
JR's blog said she's
Is
not.
it on Livewire?
With Sonny and Todd Grisham, 1999. I put that backwards. Who was
Shotgun
it?
Saturday
Todd
night.
Pettingill.
Oh, my God, Todd Pettingill.
Let's go to the phone lines. Remember, folks, you can call us 276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN. Let's go to line 1 where we have Ronnie from Michigan.
Well, what's up, people?
Hey, what's up, Ronnie? New caller?
No, I called like a few months ago.
Okay, well, what you got, buddy?
Yeah. Real quick, big fan of the show again. I've been adding you guys on Facebook, by the way.
Okay.
I just talked to Frank a couple days ago.
Okay, so you are a fan of Frank Cosentino?
Yes.
Okay.
But anyways, my thoughts on the whole Donald Trump thing is that this could actually be the thing that WWE needs. Actually, if you really think about it, he's basically has now bred competition. Because if you really look at how, ignore the fact that he was stumbling over his words, if you take it as he was getting mad, as showing anger that he's changing it that much with no commercials. And
you watch all the product placement in next week's show.
Yeah, a different product placement. And let me ask you this, too.
But at the same time, if you take it as that, you've now bred that SmackDown and ECW are kind of like WWE, and now Donald Trump has Raw, and they could maybe feud the shows like
but
that.
There's still, again, WWE fans and wrestling fans in general aren't really idiots anymore. I'm not saying that you're saying that. But
if you go back to what I think I can't remember. It was Matt Hardy and CM Punk were talking. It made me think that somehow if one show this character or champion decides to go after the other champion to unify the titles, that would start a feud. I think that there's going to be a major feud here pretty soon with Donald Trump and Vince.
You like it?
I think it's
that's good actually, and that's good that you're saying it, because for the majority in here, we're not big fans of it yet. However, you're the demographic that they're trying to hook, and if you're liking it, then there's nothing wrong.
Because I look at it this way. Look at it from their standpoint. If they breed a feud between their shows, who's going to watch TNA?
Wrestling fans, TNA wrestling fans are still going to watch TNA. Then it's regardless, Ronnie, regardless of what's going on in WWE, the people that watch TNA are still going to watch TNA.
Right. But they can cause enough controversy.
I don't know about that.
Controversy creates cash.
This is what I think. What if this whole Umaga and Kennedy is a major ploy? What if, since they're not contracted WWE employees, supposedly, or whatever, behind the scenes, what if that was all a leak? What if...
Ronnie, I can guarantee you Ken Kennedy is not under contract.
Well, Ronnie, the point you're making is one that's been circling around the IWC, and one that was out there when Bret Hart got released, too. Some conspiracy theorists still believe the demise of WCW ultimately had to do with Vince letting Bret Hart go to WCW. I don't subscribe to that, but there's a lot of people thinking...
I was just thinking that if they could actually bring in other people that we wouldn't be expecting as Trump employees.
No.
To Raw.
No, hey, it would be a good angle. It would be interesting.
Yeah.
It'd be like someone said in the Chatmosphere, the fake Razor and the fake Diesel.
To be honest, though, it's very, very far-fetched. Very far-fetched.
Thank you, Ronnie from Michigan, for that phone call here on the Pro Wrestling Report. Ronnie's point is interesting, to say the least, especially since our next topic is the names and the people who have recently been released from WWE or who have chosen to leave WWE. We'll talk about each of those names in detail, including some who may be considering departing this week on PWR Prime Time, which will be available Friday night right after SmackDown on Time Warner Cable Channel 14 and Wednesday at PWRshow.com. But now let's talk about, of those names, who should, not who will, but who should TNA pursue to sign to a deal. Specifically, you know the names, and the biggest one that's out there that's been talked about specifically, and because he's already rumored to have signed, is Taz. So let's go around the room now. Gentlemen, your thoughts. We'll start with you, Kaz. Who should TNA take? Of the recently released names of WWE, and that list is long: Taz, Vicky Guerrero, Kennedy, Umaga, JBL, who probably isn't an option, Victoria, who's already there, and some rumored to be leaving, if not already, shortly. Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, Shawn Michaels, Batista, Undertaker. A lot of those names obviously probably don't have an option of going to TNA because of financial reasons and the fact that they just will never work for another company. But of the people who have been released, Frank, who do you think TNA should pursue?
Well, you look at potential. So I'd go after Ken Kennedy. That would make the most sense. Out of all of those guys that have a long track record, Kennedy is someone where you can say, just stay healthy, and you can become a star. And I think TNA could have an opportunity there if it works. All those other wrestlers, to me, it doesn't fit.
Frank, now, we don't want you perpetuating the whole Kennedy gets injured thing consistently over and over, because Kennedy isn't as injury-prone as has been made to believe. I mean, if anybody wants to talk again, injury-prone, Batista's hurt again. Mysterio's had 5 operations on his knees.
If he stays healthy, he has the potential to be a fantastic wrestler.
If he stays on TV, he has the opportunity to be a fantastic wrestler or performer. That's all he needs to be is on TV.
Sometimes it's not his choice.
Health, just because you have a broken leg doesn't stop you from being on TV. Or
well, you got to get rehabbed. I mean, you can't.
Well, I understand
travel and
that.
all that stuff.
Look at Kurt Angle. He was in a wheelchair for what? Almost a year on SmackDown?
Yeah.
Yeah, he made it.
But he made it over. Dave?
Yeah.
It's your turn, by the way.
I think Taz was a terrible signing by TNA. I don't think that today's wrestling fans that are watching TNA know the kind of impact that Taz had on ECW. They're just going to see a guy that used to be a commentator on a Friday Night Wrestling show.
And they'll see two of them, because he's about that big now.
Yeah, he is. And from what I've been hearing, there's interest in signing Umaga to pair him up with Samoa Joe.
Nation of Violence.
Nation of Violence.
There you go.
Let's go to the phone lines. Again, on line 2, we've got Steve from Heartland, Wisconsin. You're live on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Steve. What's up, Steve?
Much. Quickly, I'll retract. I know you guys are on a different subject, but I do not like the Donald Trump manager. I think it's. By the way, that last caller actually think that Donald Trump buying it, does he really think that he owns it? That's what I got from it.
He may just.
But if that's what Vince is trying to throw out there for people to believe, I guess he is their demographic. No, I don't like it. I hate it. I think.
Who should it have been, Steve?
Who would you have liked?
I wouldn't say.
If you had to make the choice and everybody is available, who would you have picked? Knowing that Vicky Guerrero probably had the most heat in the company at the point in which she left, who would you have picked?
I wouldn't have picked. I don't know if I can tell you specifically who, but I would have picked things were tossing in my head, and I was, you could go to an Austin or something like that. But
no, pre-show, Steve, Damien and I actually threw out Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, you know what? That popped in my head. And the other name that popped in my head, which would have been fantastic, and I would have applauded him, would have been Paul Heyman.
Yeah, I thought about that as well.
Well, and, we all know Paul's check wouldn't clear anyhow. So.
Yeah, he's the best thing that
right away
happened to that company, in my opinion. But I would have picked, I don't know specifically who, but I would have thrown a curveball and maybe a wrestler. Maybe
Eric
Randy
Young.
Orton or something like that.
Hulk Hogan.
Oh, God.
Brother.
Randy Savage.
Yeah.
I would have picked, well, that would have been a good promo for his DVD, but I would have picked a wrestler for a temporary.
Mickey Rourke?
William Regal was a great general manager.
That's who I wanted.
Twice.
Because obviously I'm a big Regal fan, but they were if they were making such a big deal out of it, it wasn't going to be him. But I would have picked. I don't know. I would have maybe thrown Orton, had Orton run it. If they're trying to push him big time as a heel and have him run it, I mean, I know it doesn't make a complete amount of sense, but I would have picked a wrestler of some sort to do it. But
well, Steve, good points, and it is Donald
Thank
Trump.
you.
Again, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by this. I'm not saying I like it,
What does
but
it
I'm
bring to
intrigued.
the table? What does it do?
That's the question. What does it do?
I mean, it's not going to get any coverage on Entertainment Tonight or
Which is what they
TMZ
think it will do.
Or The View. No, none of that's going to help.
Where's The Apprentice? We need to look that up.
Who watches that show?
But it doesn't matter. Remember, USA.
You know who should have bought Raw would have been the owner of the Denver Nuggets.
That would have
Remember,
been interesting.
USA is owned by NBC Universal. And
Correct.
the same reason Hogan was on the 15th anniversary show, Plug-in American Gladiators, the same reason Trump was involved with WrestleMania, it's all cross-promotion. It's business. Whether we like it or not, it makes sense, and sometimes they have to do things they may not want to do. Trump and McMahon are friends. And it really, I think, to put some ripples through the business, picking Donald Trump might have been a good idea.
Now, does Trump have something to submit this summer?
That's the question, and we'll have to get
There's
Harley
gotta
the
be
intern on
something.
that.
You know what? You watch. I bet you there's going to be some WWE talent that's going to be on The Apprentice, The Celebrity Apprentice, in fall.
Probably a diva.
Yeah, I could see a woman. That would probably make sense.
Let's go now to Curryhead, Memphis, Tennessee, on line 3.
What's up, guys?
What's up? Hey, Curry, real quick, man. We had Kamala last week. Where were you?
Well, I was on a 45-day vacation.
Was that 4 to 5 or 45?
I think I heard 4 to 5.
No, 45 days. That's the reason why I haven't been commenting on a 45-day vacation.
Hey, Curry, you're supposed to have the girls. Curry, you're supposed to have the girls come bail you out. I've seen Dr. Detroit. Get them to get you out of the clink.
Why don't you go back to your home on Whore Island? Hold on. I was bailed out. That was my sentence.
Well, Curryhead, I'm glad that you can now see the light of day, but what do you want to talk about this week on the Pro Wrestling Report?
Before I start, it's nice to talk to y'all. It's been a while, I know.
About a minute.
But before before I start, I want to give a shout-out and rest in peace to Masawa. I was a big fan of his, and, man, that was jacked up when I saw how he died.
Yeah.
That was
sad.
jacked up.
Curryhead's referring to the passing of Mitsuhiro Misawa, who passed away in the ring after a suplex. His cause of death was cervical spinal damage just last weekend in Japan. So obviously our condolences go out to the...
I ever seen somebody died in the ring.
What was that?
That was the second time I've seen somebody died in the ring.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation. So thanks for bringing that up, and obviously our condolences go out to the entire wrestling community and specifically Misawa's family.
But before I start, man, it's been a jacked up 3 weeks. Jeff Hardy held the title for 2 minutes.
You mean to tell me Jeff Hardy had the title for 5 minutes?
No. I was thinking when I was thinking about that, I was thinking of Damian Lamb like he used to do with the Bobby Devane, but I'll start with this. What is going on with WWE? It's doing a flip-flop with TNA. At least TNA is at least doing some original story ideas.
Well, Curry, this week on PWR TV, we're going to talk about that in detail. Basically, the subject is WWE falling apart? But here's one point, and I was making this, we were watching with Scott Wisniewski here at the studio, and Raw was on, and JR was talking about SmackDown this Friday night. They had the graphic up about the match, and the graphic was wrong, and JR was talking about the graphic being wrong. They left the graphic up. If TNA were to have done that, everyone's about, oh, look, it's amateur TNA. They can't even get their promos right, blah, 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 blah. WWE does it, and they get a pass, just like always.
Is the next week going to be a 3-hour commercial free or just 2 hours?
No, 2 hours commercial free.
And why are they doing having your big money making match a 2 hour on a free show?
What they will do
the rating.
Yeah, they won't.
Because they'll make you buy it on pay-per-view the month later.
What you'll most likely still see is not an actual commercial. They'll like let's see that play again, and the replay's brought to you by something, and then brought to you by Trojan.
I think the whole show will be brought to you by the letter X.
Well, and you know what? I want to say I knew it was not going to be Flair. I thought it was going to be somebody like Hogan. The only reason why I say Hogan is he's the only one I know of the wrestlers that has the money and is currently in the news. Public eye on something is currently in the public eye for some. What's the thing I'm trying to say?
We got you.
Well, Curryhead, unfortunately, we do have to cut you off. I do have to say one thing, though. Your one phone call should have been to us.
Yes.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. We're going to take a brief timeout. When we come back, we've got Ruben from New York and Martin from Minnesota and so much more here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Listen to interviews at ESPNMilwaukee.com. Subscribe to a podcast of all the interviews from your favorite shows. Plus, Harvard and Rudy at ESPNMilwaukee.com. Podcasting on ESPNMilwaukee.com is brought to you by 540 ESPN.
Summer. It seems as though it's finally arrived. The long, blustery winter days have been replaced by warm, sunny weather. And sure, there's plenty you could do outside. Spend lazy days at the beach, enjoy a cookout, or perhaps even plan a weekend getaway. Except the thing is, you can't win cold, hard cash by doing any of those things. But you can at Potawatomi Bingo Casino. Throughout June and July, we are giving away a total of $200,000 to hundreds of guests with our summer cash giveaway. Yep, you heard right. Hundreds of guests, just like you, will win their share of $200,000 in cash. Simply get free daily entries by playing slots or table games with your Firekeepers Club card. So you could spend your days outside, or you could beat the heat with some cool cash from Potawatomi Bingo Casino. For details, visit PaysBig.com or call 1-800-PAYS-BIG. Must be 21 and a Firekeepers Club member to participate. Management reserves all rights.
Old Style invites you to get authentically Croydon with Old Style Brewmaster Bob Newman.
Hired movers. Hey, looks like you guys could use an Old Style. How did you get in here, man? I'm here to spread the word about Kreuzening, the German brewing tradition of making things better.
So if like Kreuzening's moving boxes, they would be unpacked?
Well, Kreuzening is really a second round of fermentation while brewing Old Style.
If we Kreuzen the stairs, there'd be a lot less of them.
Old Style does have a rich taste that you won't get from the mainstream.
If we Kreuzen the fire escape, it would be a deluxe balcony with a hot tub.
If we Kreuzened our new fridge, it would be full of ice-cold Old Style.
Hey, Bob, Can you Croydon our buddies so they can carry more?
You're on your own for that one.
Learn more about Kreuzening, the German brewing tradition of making things better, at oldstylebeer.com.
Think local, drink local.
And try the improved taste of authentically Kreuzened Old Style for yourself. G. Heilman Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hey, sports fans, introducing the most amazing sporting event ever, the Sports Legends Challenge. For the first time in history, you will cross the line from spectator to competitor and become teammates with 25 of the greatest sports legends of our time, including Troy Aikman, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Richard Petty, and many more, plus 25 world-famous poker pros like Phil Hellmuth, Annie Duke, and others. You'll spend 4 days at the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort in the Bahamas interacting with the legends. There will be exciting activities, parties, and your chance to play poker, blackjack, and other casino games with up to $10 million in cash prizes. Looking for your 15 minutes of fame? Win your way into the Sports Legends All-Star Poker Challenge, where you will compete with and against all 25 of the sports legends while being coached by one of the world-famous poker pros. The Sports Legends Challenge will be nationally televised on Fox Sports. So don't delay. Visit sportslegendschallenge.com to join the action or call 404-869-5000 today. That's 404-869-5000.
Use innovative signs for all your company's banner, trade show, and vehicle graphic needs. See their work online at innovative-signs.com. Innovative Signs, Southeast Wisconsin's premier sign company and the official vehicle graphics and signage partner of 540 ESPN.
Tune in to 540 ESPN each weekday for your chance to scramble to the top of the D-list, courtesy of George Webb's. It's always breakfast time at George Webb's, open day and night.
I think everyone is looking for ways to save money these days.
I started riding the bus because of the cost savings.
I used to have a car, and it was just so expensive with parking, gas, insurance. It just adds up so quickly, and you don't think about it until you're doling it out.
I think it's funny when people say, oh, it's so hard or it's so complicated, because really it's not. You just find your bus number and you hop on.
Well, taking the bus is probably the primary way that I save money. I never thought that it would make such a huge difference, and it really has.
It allows you to have more of a community. You're in a secret club. Oh, yeah, take the bus. I know you. And it's a very good club. And it's not an exclusive club. Anyone can join.
I don't think I could go back to driving after riding the bus.
Save money by riding the bus. And go to yourotherwheels.com and tell us how you save. The bus, your other set of wheels.
My name is Erin.
My name is DJ.
My name is Kayla, and the bus is my ride.
Brought to you by your Southeast Wisconsin Transit Systems and the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
This is Bill Hall of the Milwaukee Brewers, and you're listening to 540 ESPN.
Sorry about your damn luck.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Damian Nelson, the man they call Meathead, and Dave Hero here live. Monday night, June 15, 2009. We've already lost Frank.
Come on, we're way, way past his bedtime.
You can follow the Pro Wrestling Report on Twitter. Twitter.com/PWR show. Go ahead and follow. You can get updates every time. PWR.com is updated. PWRshow.com is updated. And, obviously, breaking news updates as well on Twitter. I got to give some Twitter props to Jeremy Borash. We came back with James Storms' music. He had posted a picture of Storm in Chicago's Midway Airport and said, sorry about his damn people skills. Apparently he doesn't like to talk to people. He's got some good Twitter zingers. But, again, PWR Show on Twitter. Go ahead and sign up and follow all of our updates. Well, what a show we've had so far, and it just keeps on getting better. Next week, Dave Hero, we've got a big guest coming up next week right here on this very program.
The only guy to ever be a part of the NWO and D-Generation Act.
And by the way, did you hear Damien? Do you know what he's been channeling like the last few weeks?
No.
Every time he says the word program?
No,
you know
tell
who
me.
he's channeling?
No, who?
The greatest play-by-play announcer in the history of the business.
You can get up and get out if you continue talking
Folks,
like
at the top of the program, welcome to WCW Monday Nitro. He's doing Shivani. Have you been hearing it?
Sean Waltman, X-Pac,
1, 2, 3 kids,
will be on this program. He's scheduled to appear on this program next week right here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. And if you didn't get a chance to listen to Kamala last week on the show, you can go ahead and find that at pwrshow.com as well.
Who, by the way, was managed by the Cause and the mortgage doctor.
Did the Cause take a bump?
No, he did not.
He needs to go ahead and file the paperwork for a hug. Because the Cause is a little sensitive.
Well, you know, I mean...
Yeah, I know he's listening right now, but honestly, Cause, step up, grow a pair.
I don't think he is.
Yeah.
X-Pac next week right here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Let's go to the news desk now. WWE is going to be releasing a 10th anniversary SmackDown DVD on September 15th. That will coincide with the season premiere of SmackDown on my network TV. Last week's ratings, Raw gets a 3.6 rating, SmackDown with a 1.9, TNA at a 1.1, ECW up to a 1.2, and Superstars at a 0.9. Hulk Hogan's autobiography entitled My Life Outside the Ring will be on shelves on October 27th, and given the nature of his personal trials as of late, that one should be an interesting read, along with the way he's going to spin it.
I wonder if he does a book tour.
He will be appearing in Bridgeview, Illinois, coming up later this month, and he is scheduled to be doing. He is scheduled to be doing a book tour as well. WWE is going to host a free concert featuring Rev Theory and Adelita's Way before The Bash on July 28th at the Arco Arena. Adelita's Way is the group that sings the theme song for Superstars. TNA has announced that Hernandez has been cleared to return to the ring after his recent neck surgery. Back to the ring earlier than expected, hopefully, though, not too early.
Do you think he'll cash in that briefcase?
End of the year? By the end of the year?
When he was on this very program, he said that he would do so by the end of the year, and he expects to be the new TNA champion by the end of the year as well.
On this very what?
Program. Chris Jericho is set to host a new show on VH1. The show is going to be titled The 100 Most Shocking Moments in Rock, and it will be airing in the fall. Let's go to the phone lines again. We've got, I think next is Ruben from New York City on line 1. Ruben, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
How you doing, Nathan?
Get a rope.
Hello?
Hello, go ahead.
Yeah, how you doing, Nelson?
It's just Nelson. He's talking to you, Nelson.
I'm doing good, Ruben. How are you?
Ruben doesn't want to talk to a hero or a meathead. That's okay.
How you doing, meathead?
I'm doing all right, Ruben. Get a rope.
And hero, how's it going?
Hey, man, tremendous.
What do you have, Ruben?
Oh, well, nothing much. Good. I think, I don't know, WWE might be desperate. Just throw a 3-hour Raw out of nowhere. They're doing pay-per-views each 3 weeks.
Well, keep in mind, though, Ruben, I don't think they've ever decided or chosen to do a 3-hour Raw. The network requests it because it's a ratings juggernaut.
Yeah. Also, I think because I heard that the rating system it changed recently, and for some reason the company that does the rating, the real ratings that came out system, they're lower, so they're trying to pick up those ratings also.
Yeah, what happened was with the digital TV conversion last Friday, a lot of TVs may not have been metered anymore. However, I believe that is erroneous reporting because Nielsen would have made sure those homes had all the necessary equipment to convert as they obviously track the homes that they rate.
You're making
and
assumptions,
use the ratings for. I'm not making assumptions. It's a fact.
Yeah. Okay.
You've contacted Nielsen? Anyway, Ruben, go ahead.
Well, the Donald Trump thing was kind of surprising. It's not, I know he's not the owner, but like Damien said, I'm intrigued. Let's see what happens.
But what's he going to bring? What's he going to bring to Raw?
Money.
Ruben, in the best possible situation, it's kind of what Dave's asking you. What can he do? What is the best possible scenario that Trump can do for you? Entertainment-wise.
Probably nothing.
What if Donald Trump brings back Mr. Kennedy to Green Bay next week?
That'll be good.
But, Ruben, all that matters is,
happen.
as you said, either you're intrigued and going to tune in to see what happens, or you're not. And if you're intrigued, then I guess it worked. It doesn't matter, I don't think, as much what he's going to do as the matter that you are at least wondering what he's going to do. Yeah. Ruben from New York, thank you so much for calling in. We've got to go to the next phone call, which is Martin from Minnesota.
Nelson.
Martin, you are on.
Nelson.
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's up, Martin?
Hey, I just want to talk about this whole Trump thing. I'm one of those people who are just thinking, well, let's just see what happens. I'll tune in next week, but I'm thinking, though, that Raw has to put on the show of their life because you guys, the IWC, have been on Raw for putting on bad shows for the past few weeks, and they're coming up. Trump's going to make his debut. It's commercial-free. So I'm thinking that they better put on a great show here if they really want this to mean anything.
How many weeks do you give Donald Trump to make a difference on Raw?
1 month tops. I'd say 4 weeks.
And let me throw this out there too. Donald Trump obviously isn't going to be there live every week for Raw. There's no way the man has got enough time in his life to be there for that. So I mean, would you really care if Donald Trump is doing pre-tapes? I mean, because the pre-tape tonight was awful.
Who won The Apprentice for him recently? Maybe he puts his apprentice as the GM of Raw.
Playable.
I'm not sure about that. I mean, if they say it's Donald Trump who's the owner, then then Donald Trump should be the...
But the owner's not always necessarily on TV. I think Dave's actually onto something here. You put his celebrity apprentice, whoever it is, and maybe it is somebody that people might care about. Who knows?
Maybe it'll be Santino.
Ah, there you go, Dave. That's who should have been the new GM.
He would be a great GM.
Or he could be Trump's assistant.
But, of course, Santino got too popular, so now he'll be beaten every week.
Or wrestling dark matches.
He's way too entertaining.
Yes.
Do you have anything else, Martin?
Not really. Just want to give my thoughts on the whole Trump thing. So,
well,
thanks for letting me say my thing, guys.
Anytime. Thanks for calling in. And if anybody else wants to say their thing, they can call us at 276-ESPN. That's 276-ESPN in southeastern Wisconsin or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN. That's 1-800-990-ESPN. Let's go to line 3. Bowman from Boston.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up? Hey, there's been a lot of talk in the chatosphere right now about how Bowman owned Damian last week. I don't know if that's really something that you tried to do, but let's talk a little wrestling.
Yeah, no, definitely. I must have been the only one rooting for them to actually bring out Stan Kroenke. I was really hoping for that.
You and Dave Hero.
Just to bring the guy that played him out to pretend to drive the show into the ground for a month. It would have been hilarious. But I think they missed the ball. I think the person who would have made the most sense out of any wrestler would have been JBL.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think the fans would have cared.
JBL gets heel heat, though.
Oh, he is a wrestling god.
He's too busy making protein
Mama
shakes
Joanna.
with Charlie Haas.
Yeah.
I definitely think Dave Hero's onto something. It wouldn't be a bad idea that the whoever wins Apprentice ends up being the GM of Raw or whatever. I mean, I'm in the same boat. I'll just wait to see what happens. I don't think it was a bad show, and I thought Raw actually did the one thing they don't usually do. They only do it about every 3 months, and that's actually wrestle on the show.
Right, but they gave away 3 pay-per-view matches tonight.
Yeah, but what wrestling program doesn't do that now?
Well, I understand, but I mean, I think
you go to TNA, they have ladder matches and that cage match with the weapons. They give away pay-per-view matches every week. They give pay-per-view matches away every week.
Well, that all changed when Nitro went on the air, to be honest with you. Well, not when it went on the air, but probably 96-ish when we started seeing, not insert jobber name here, wrestling, whoever.
Yeah.
You started seeing some of those marquee matches because the battle was on.
The Rusty Brookses and the Mike DiBiase's
No more Barry Horowitz.
No more Barry Horowitz.
I miss Barry Horowitz.
Yeah.
My second favorite Jewish wrestler.
But I'm in the same boat. I'll wait to see what happens. I don't think anybody's talking too much about the show. I thought the show was pretty good. I thought they had a lot of good matches and it was entertaining. Big Nose is back and we're gonna get Raw as Triple H for a little while.
He's the number 1 contender.
And we're gonna get the 3rd last man standing match that these two have fought in the last 2 years.
And no commercials, so that means we have to watch every second of it.
Well, WWE is going green by recycling.
It's just I'm tired of seeing WrestleMania 25 over and over and over. I mean, there were people in the chat room literally, I think, rooting for John Cena at the end. As much as IWC hates, I think they just didn't want Triple H to win.
And again, in that 4-way, Hero and I both agreed that it should have been Big Show. Let Big Show get a run with the title, and then Big Show Cena or Big Show Triple H. I mean, something we haven't seen in the last how many years?
It's the summertime. You can risk running it with Big Show. I mean, that's why they're running with, CM Fail over there. CM Punk. That's why they're running the title with him.
But which one is more believable, Big Show or CM Punk?
Oh, definitely Big Show.
Right.
CM Punk has no business being heavyweight champion.
Well, either did Rey Mysterio, but there he is.
Rey Mysterio was actually likable and actually appealed to kids. CM Punk doesn't appeal to anybody.
As you'll find out on this week's edition of PWR Primetime, we discuss how Rey Mysterio still hits that key demographic, and no, it's not just the Latin American demographic; it's the children. Rey Mysterio is like a kid to them.
Bowman from Boston out on the East Coast, thank you so much for calling in. Let's go to this week's poll results at pwrshow.com, where you guys get to vote on which show you thought was the best of the week. TNA Impact wins again with 42.7% of the votes. WWE Raw in second at 28.1% of the votes, followed by SmackDown with 22.4%, and then ECW and Superstars rounding out the top of the list. Speaking of lists, let's go to Beat the Meat.
Giggity! Anyways, last week's Beat the Meat was how many times did Tommy Dreamer win the ECW title? When Tommy Dreamer first won the belt at the pay-per-view, I heard them screaming, that's his first ECW title win, which actually is not the truth at all. Tommy Dreamer is now a 2-time ECW champion. He won it right around the same time that Taz was signed with the WWE. He laid down for Taz. Tommy also lost the belt that exact same night to one of Damien's favorite marks, Just Incredible. So Tommy Dreamer, 2-time ECW champion. This week's Beat the Meat, it's very easy. We're going to talk about Donald Trump, Vince McMahon from WrestleMania 23 2 years ago. Do you still remember, or do you have to look it up? Who wrestled for Vince and who wrestled for Donald Trump? That's it. Try to beat the meat.
Send those to comments at pwrshow.com. Again, that's comments at pwrshow.com. It's time to go in-depth. This week, it's Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho, whose professional wrestling career started in about 1990, debuted in WCW in 1996, came over to WWE in 1999, and then took a little brief break between 2005 and 2007. Obviously has done a lot in the media outlets as well, hosting several shows. He's the lead singer of his band called Fozzy, trained by the Harts, Stu Hart, Keith Hart, and Ed Langley, and also trained with Lance Storm at the same time. Chris Jericho, the Intercontinental Champion currently, a man who has taken the heel role on SmackDown to what I think is a new level. Gentlemen, your thoughts on Chris Jericho?
I think, you know what, Chris Jericho was getting stale. He was very forgettable early on, but the way he's changed it up, you know, he's gone back to the traditional old school, almost Jake the Snake Roberts, talk softly, make people listen, you know, buy in. Just been a great heel, and I think I think he could be the MVP of SmackDown.
Not the Montel Vontavious Porter MVP, but you're talking the most valuable performer, if you will.
He's had great matches with Ray Ray.
And, you know, it's not that Ray can't have great matches with other people, but they've had believable matches. I mean, there's real tension. There's real investment into Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is a guy that you instantly want to hate because of the way he's talking, the way he's acting, the cockiness, the my stuff doesn't stink, you know, walk that he has down to the ring. Very slow, very meditated, very, very thought out. Chris Jericho is actually, you know, you're right, Dave, is the most valuable performer on SmackDown, if not in the WWE. We've called him last week, we called him the number one heel right now. Well, technically that's not true. Randy Orton is the number one heel. Chris Jericho is the best.
He doesn't get nearly as much time as Randy Orton does.
Right, but Chris Jericho is the best heel right now.
Right.
Did Chris Jericho ever play Doink the Clown, Dave Hero?
Yes, he did.
Twice, it looks like.
Yeah, he was a Dizoink.
Who hasn't been Doink is the question.
I haven't.
Well, the Bushwhackers have been a Doink. Viscera was a Doink.
Wait,
no, Dave, that's a donk.
Oh,
Viscera
really?
was a Doink?
Yeah.
Was he Doink show?
I think it was a Men on a Mission as Doink with the Bushwhackers as Doink at WrestleMania.
That's more of a dunk. There's no way that's a doink.
I'm telling you.
That's not a dink.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a doink. It's a dunk.
It was against Bam Bam Bigelow and the Samoan SWAT team, I think it was. And
Chris Jericho is a 4-time Cruiserweight champion. He's been the WCW television champion once, 2-time WCW World Heavyweight champion, WWF Hardcore and European championships each one time. As you know, 9 times Intercontinental champion, beating both The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin in one night to become the undisputed champion.
I couldn't believe that either that night.
That was amazing.
Well, there was also a bad 3 months following for WWE at the time.
Because of the big nose. He squashed them.
No, but that was the time NWO came in as well.
And NWO squashed them. I mean, you know, we've talked about that off-air, on-air. Jericho was, unfortunately, a transitional champ at that point.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, when your champ is only wrestling at the...
But you want to know what? I will be a transitional champ anytime I can beat Austin and Rock.
Sure. Jericho was a transitional champ, and at that point, I mean, when your champion is on at the 9 o'clock hour Central and not wrestling the 10 o'clock, the main event of the show, and that's all he ever did. He wrestled those, the first hour, you know, ended hour 1 main events. That's it. He never got into the top part of the show. But he was your champ. He was the guy that was carrying both belts.
He was your guy.
Not because he was my guy.
Oh, yeah, he's your guy.
He is my guy, but that's not because he was my guy.
We talked about X-Pac joining us next week right here on this very show. You can check out now on iTunes. If you haven't subscribed already, you can do so at pwrshow.com. We've got a very interesting interview with Al Snow, where he talks about the 7 deadly steps in professional wrestling. That is available on iTunes, so you can take it with you on your iPod.
Of that interview.
It is yes, it's not the full 63 minutes he went on the show.
It's not?
It's 23 of those 63 minutes, but it's you got to listen to it if you're a wrestling fan. He speaks the gospel, and that's available exclusively on iTunes right now. Let's go now to line 1, Sam from Dallas. Sam, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Hey, what's up, Sam? What do you got?
Yeah, man. I was watching Raw tonight with my cousin and my brother, watching that Battle Royal.
Okay.
We're just thinking, man, Triple H is going to win this thing. Why is Triple H going to win this thing? He doesn't need to win this. But our dark horse was MVP.
But you knew, there was no doubt Triple H was going to win that Battle Royal.
Exactly. I mean, you knew it was going to be. I was hoping MVP would just somehow kind of sneak in it, but when he got eliminated, I'm thinking, it's going to be Triple H, John Cena, and Legacy. And Legacy's going to get eliminated, and then Triple H is going to throw out John Cena, and then Randy Orton's going to be, oh, no, I got to face Triple H again, oh, no. And it's frustrating, man. I like.
You know what, though? I got to say this, Sam. Let's get one thing straight. Triple H is absolutely excellent at what he does, and that is being a professional wrestler. Triple H, you almost don't get any better than he is. The challenge is sometimes, even when he deserves to be where he is, as far as his spot on the show, which he certainly deserves to be at the top of the card, anytime he's in the title hunt, the fans attack. But he is excellent, and I discovered how excellent he was leading up to WrestleMania 22 in Chicago.
Damien, it's because we're tired of him. He
Triple
could go
H
away
does
for
not
over.
Sell pay-per-view.
He could go away, Dave, for over 2 years. We're still tired of him.
I don't know about that. That's a long time to be gone.
Yeah, and just on that, it's kind of like Kobe Bryant in a way. You may hate the guy,
He likes
but
Denver?
I don't think he can afford a ring that big.
Nah, it's just the fact that you don't hate. I mean, you may not like the guy, but you gotta respect his game. You gotta respect what he does. And
we do respect his game.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, he's
doesn't mean we want to see him.
He's like Tim Tebow, he's so great, but you get so tired of seeing him and hearing about him saying he's just the greatest thing alive. It's just,
No.
I don't hate Triple H. I like the guy. I think he's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But
But I'm telling you right now, I personally have never bought a ticket to see Triple H. Dave, would you pay for a ticket to see Triple H?
No, I haven't.
Thank you, Sam from Dallas, for calling in here to the Pro Wrestling Report. We're going to take our final time out of the evening. When we come back, we've got extended time here on the Pro Wrestling Report. We're going to continue. We're still going to preview TNA Slammiversary this Sunday. We've got This Week in History and the VI3 along with the draft update. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
WAUK Jackson. Listen to Mike and Mike mornings starting at 5 on 540 ESPN. ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Jay Reynolds. Quite a night in Major League Baseball. A total of 57 hits and 42 runs scored. And we only had 2 games on the schedule. In Cleveland, the Indians had a lead on the Brewers, but that was until Milwaukee batted in the top of the 8th.
Perez delivers, and Fielder knocks it to right center and deep. Get up! Get out of here! Gone for Fielder! He just hit a grand slammer, and the Brewers are on top in this game.
Bob Uecker, WTMJ. Brewers would hang on for the win, 14-12. They score 6 times in the top of the 8th. Fielder with the grand slam and 6 RBI. Ryan Braun homers and drives in 5. Milwaukee's first 3 batters scored 10 of their 14 runs. Meanwhile, in San Francisco, the Angels beat the Giants 9-7. They hang on for the win there, scoring 7 times in the top of the 4th inning. Football, Brett Favre finally breaking his weeks of formal silence. The 3-time MVP chatting with Joe Buck Monday on HBO, admitting that he has had surgery, has had contact with the Vikings, and met with their trainer on Sunday. And Favre is considering playing again. He admits, however, he doesn't know if the surgery on his shoulder has been successful, so it will be 4 or 5 weeks before he'll be able to make any decisions. Speaking of guys who may or may not be playing this fall, Plexico Burress. He's had his weapons possessions case adjourned until September A trial may not be held until after the season. He has pleaded not guilty. His agent says he's hoping to have a deal for Burris before training camp. Browns wide receiver Dante Stallworth reportedly reaches a plea agreement. He's been facing DUI manslaughter charge in Miami stemming from an incident in mid-March. Broncos wide receiver Brandon Marshall reportedly has requested a trade. From the NBA, the Lakers have their 15th title. It's the 10th for Phil Jackson. But that's where it ends for him, perhaps. He has a year left on his deal. No certainty that he will be back next season. Jeannie Buss, Lakers vice president, saying that she expects him back next season, but she said there are health issues that have to be considered. Hedo Turkoglu will be opting out of his deal in Orlando and will become a free agent.
Sports Center every 20 minutes. ESPN Radio. For over 10 years, the world's #1 source for professional wrestling news and information. And once again, here's your hosts, Damian Nelson, Frank Cosentino, and the man they call Meathead. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report. Damian Nelson, the man they call Meathead, and Dave Hero here with you live, June 15, 2009. As we said before, several ways to join us, including the phone lines, 276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN. We're also streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com and PWRshow.com. We want to remind you can sign up for us on Twitter at twitter.com/PWRshow.
Dave, do you Twitter?
Once in a great while I Twitter.
In the garage?
I'm more of a Facebook kind of guy.
I like the Facebook.
Yeah.
Damian, you like the Facebook?
I have my... Yes.
There was a JR reference there.
Exactly. The 2009 Pro Wrestling Report Fantasy Draft, right now at PWRshow.com in the draft section, you can see my first fantasy pay-per-view. And check that out. And then remember, you'll have the opportunity to vote on who had the best pay-per-view of the period. The next one coming is Meatheads on July 5th. And you had the opportunity to listen to the supplemental draft last week. The 2 mystery picks were revealed in my first fantasy pay-per-view. They were none other than the team of Beer Money Incorporated, who are the new tag champs, and James E. Cornette.
This is where you set it up.
Is this the Dairy Queen James Cornette?
That's still one of my favorite videos.
Anyway, there is an update also on my roster as well. Just like any kind of fantasy baseball, basketball, whatever, you can make waiver pickups. And due to Batista's injury, he's out 4 to 6 months from the last we heard. He's been dropped, put on waivers, Dave.
What?
He should have been on waivers the whole time. But I picked up Daphne. You know, again,
I'm a Daphne fan.
I've got a thing for Daphne. Once you look past the little bit of goofy makeup in the clothing, I seriously got a half-mast every time I see her.
Half-mast.
It's a half-mast. I mean, you know, I don't get too involved when I'm watching wrestling. It's wrestling. Come on.
Okay.
But
I feel hot about it.
But Daphne's been picked up. I do have one more surprise, and the only way you're going to find out who it is, I've kind of done something with Kennedy. Kennedy can't be on the program, so I've done something with Kennedy. It's getting late. Go ahead and make sure to check out www.pwrshow.com. Check out PWR Primetime, available this week, Wednesday, I believe, on the site.
You like Skipper's going to be there?
What?
Primetime here, primetime there.
Oh, yeah, I love that guy.
Speaking of Elix Skipper, he won't be on the show, but
he's not on anybody's show right now.
TNA Slammiversary is this Sunday on pay-per-view. Let's go match by match and talk about what we are or are not looking forward to. The first match, Daniels versus Shane Douglas.
Not looking forward to seeing the guy with the farmer tan.
Hey, quit looking at me.
Great point. I don't think I've ever seen that before in my life.
Never.
On a national wrestling program, a wrestler in the ring wrestling with a distinct farmer's tan.
Yes.
You know what else? You know what else?
Put him in a bed for a day. Do something.
They're you know, universal.
Because at WWE, I mean, those guys are getting it by the case. The spray tan. I mean, because how many times have you seen Triple H come out orange, Matt Hardy coming out orange?
It's just ridiculous. I mean,
bye-bye Shane Douglas,
if
by the
you're
way.
back on TV, at least care for a little bit. But from what I'm understanding, they brought back certain guys for the 7-year anniversary.
For the Slammiversary.
That's it, yes. Which, by the way, you can see for $7.
Live at the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Yeah.
Sting versus Matt Morgan. If Matt Morgan wins, he gets a spot in the main event Mafia. Dave?
He doesn't deserve to be there.
Exactly, because I thought the main event Mafia was all former world champions.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
and why should you be wrestling for a spot in a group?
Angelina Love versus Tara, formerly known as Victoria, for the TNA Knockouts Championship.
You watch, Tara will be the new Knockouts champion.
Not going to happen this time. I think they're going to build something from it.
They can't. Why?
Abyss teams with Taylor Wilde to take on Raven and Daphne.
Dave and I think like Raven and Daphne.
No, I mean, I like Daphne more than Taylor Wilde, but yeah. Look for Abyss to get the win. Raven's gone.
Team 3D versus Beer Money for the TNA Tag Team Championships.
Beer money.
Yeah, sorry about Team 3D's bad luck.
Suicide, Jay Lethal, Consequences, Creed, Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley all come together in a King of the Mountain X Division Championship matchup.
Got to go with Suicide. Too much invested into that gimmick.
Suicide, the current champion, and a very over character as well in TNA.
No, I think it's going to be Alex Shelley.
Mick Foley, the current TNA champion, gets in the ring with Jeff Jarrett, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and Kurt Angle in another King of the Mountain match, but this one for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship.
As much as I hate to say it, I think Samoa Joe's going to come out with the belt.
Oh, no. It's not time yet. It's Kurt Angle first, then Samoa Joe chasing Angle.
I think it's AJ Styles.
Boy, that's terrible.
I think it's AJ.
Honestly, I can't see either guy with the belt. Anyone
Kurt or AJ?
Or Mick or anybody, no.
Well, Mick, if he wins, will only defend the belt once a year now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to the phone lines here on the Pro Wrestling Report. On line 1, we've got Gianni from Chicago. You're live.
Hey, guys, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Gianni? Hey, I want to mention this real quick. According to the Chatosphere, Hacksaw Jim Duggan always wrestled with a farmer tan.
Did he? I don't know.
I'm not sure about that either.
Anyways, Gianni, what do you got?
I know we were just talking about TNA, not to change subjects again, if I could talk, right? I know we were talking about Raw, and I heard Dave say that they just had 3 pay-per-view title matches.
Well, I don't think you said title. It's a pay-per-view style match.
Pay-per-view style matches. I don't believe any of them were worth paying for. I don't believe anything that WWE has done this year has been worth paying for. Nothing at all. I believe that they're starting to go downhill.
Okay, so how many pay-per-views have you bought?
My whole life?
No, this year.
This year? None.
Okay.
The only one I thought about buying was No Way Out.
Okay, fair enough.
I believe it was the beginning of this year.
February.
Yep, February. That was the only one I even considered thinking about buying.
Well, Gianni, thank you for your call. We are just about out of time as we're in extended time here on the Pro Wrestling Report. Thanks for staying up late with us. Let's go to This Week in History. And in 1998, Booker T defeated Finlay for the WCW television title. In 1993, the team of Scott and Rick Steiner defeated Money Incorporated for the WWF Tag Team Championships.
And don't forget, 2 years ago today, we lost one of the greats in wrestling. Sherry Martel passed 2 years ago today.
Sherry Martel, who we had the honor of doing her final broadcast interview, which can be seen at pwrshow.com in the interview section.
Also, Damien also got his first ever kiss from a woman, I think, was in that interview as well.
GLCW Rumble was this past Friday, Dave Hero. Tell us about the show.
Great show, a lot of fun, had by all. Rikishi and Scotty Tuhati defeated Kip James and Armando Estrada in the main event. Al Snow defended the GLCW title over Val Venus. Not to mention, we have a new ladies champion. And then, of course, Kamala and the Rock and Roll Bug Zumhoff fell victim to the Love Machine, Matt Longtime.
Next show from GLCW is August 8th. That's going to be at Rolly Rose, Roma.
Where?
On South 27th Street. Make sure you visit MilwaukeeWrestling.com for all the latest chat about Milwaukee Professional Wrestling. Again, that's MilwaukeeWrestling.com. And as I said earlier, that Al Snow interview on iTunes is one that you certainly don't want to miss. Now it's time for the VI3. We picked the 3 top names in wrestling for the week, and we'll start with the man they call Meathead.
Really? Because I've been pointing at Dave like it was his turn. But I'll go. That's okay.
Don't get hot about it.
I'm hot. My female is the former GLCW Women's Champion, Bobcat. Looks good in the ring. I saw some decent moves out of her. Things look good. My tag team, I'll have to give out to Beer Money, Inc., who, man, they've got it all. And, that was a thrown-together tag team. And they really have gone far with it. And my male will go out to Randy Orton.
All right.
Dave Hero.
I'm going to go with the ladies. Let's go with Mickie James.
Roast beef.
The tag team, I will pick the Colons, or the Colons.
The Colons.
And for the superstar, I will go with GLCW champion, Al Snow.
The definitive VI3, Chris Jericho on the top of my list this week, followed up by the tag team spot by Beer Money Incorporated, and the female spot goes to current TNA Knockouts champion Angelina Love. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, right here on this program, we've got an interview scheduled with X-Pac, and we'll have a full review of TNA Slammiversary as well. And coming up this Wednesday night, it's PWR Primetime at PWRShow.com, and Friday on Time Warner Cable, Channel 14, right after WWE SmackDown. For the man they call Meathead and the Cause, this is Damian Nelson, along with Dave Hero.
Failure Turtle.
Saying we've got 3 minutes left, apparently.
We've got 12 after 12 here.
Well, that's the time we were supposed to end. I can take extra time. I can take more minutes.
Failure.
It's all about getting over anyhow.
What's that?
It's all about
it does say
over.
on the screen we will take the show to 12:15. I wasn't paying attention. I can't do it all.
Proctor.
I have 3 monitors, 2 cell phones, and a window in front of me.
Proctor.
You keep going, right? Proctor, you were born an idiot. You'll always be an idiot.
No, the rest of yours is your gimmick.
Hey, listen, you know what?
There's speculation out there that, firstly, CM Punk was injured tonight on Raw. Said that he had to be helped out of the ring. Could be at work. Don't know for sure, but there's speculation out there.
Is CM Punk injury prone now?
I guess you get one injury and you
be.
are.
Yeah,
also,
so.
There's a lot of controversy out there, a lot of conspiracy theorists, again, talking about Batista's not actually injured, but that he suffered a wellness policy violation and it's being hidden by the injury. We have absolutely no evidence to support that fact. As a matter of fact, we have evidence to the contrary. However, we have heard that there may be some additional wellness policy violations pending announcement from WWE.
You know what? I heard about a year ago Randy Orton failed a wellness test, but somehow it got hushed over.
That was from the Sports Illustrated thing, wasn't it?
No, some other one.
It does depend on who you are, but at the same time, didn't Orton get suspended at one point for a wellness policy violation?
Well, he also trashed a hotel room.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Oh, and an airplane incident too, right?
Yeah. Good old Randy Orton.
I think they have several options of what they can do when there are wellness policy violations. Some of them, I know they've done some where the person has been already out for injury. They serve their suspension during that period as well. So do I think it's on the up and up? Yes. Do I think they take certain liberties? Probably. But if they can, why not? They're not governed. They have it's their own policy. They can do whatever they want with it. It certainly affects the credibility of that policy if they don't follow it to a T. But this Batista story, I don't buy it, guys.
Oliver Stone.
You know what? Nothing surprises me in wrestling. Batista, Triple H, buddy. I've heard the same thing, that it was a wellness violation and convenient surgery is on its way. But they did have video footage of the surgery on Raw tonight.
Well, they just showed somebody's arm getting cut up.
Footage.
Could have been anybody. That was as big as my arm, so it could have been me. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Thank you so much to our producer, Dragon, and to all of you for listening and sticking around with us late. We'll be back with you again next week, right here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Thank you for listening to the preceding special event. Now stay tuned for ESPN Radio on 540 ESPN. Coming to you from the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California, it's All Night with Jason Smith on ESPN Radio.
We have an opportunity to win every year. Not every team gets to experience that, and we thrive on the opportunity to do this. And we don't want to stop at one. We want to go for more. So,
listen to Sidney Crosby. It's All Night with Jason Smith on ESPN Radio at ESPNRadio.com, presented by Progressive Insurance. Yes, I know. We were NBA Finals overload a day ago. Hey, it's what happens when someone wins the NBA Finals on your watch, and that's what happened to us. So, plenty of our Stanley Cup Final breakdown had to go out the window, but I knew we'd have some of it because we had the big Pittsburgh parade on Monday. Sid the Kid talking about being ready for more Stanley Cups. It was a pretty fun scene in Pittsburgh. It's All Night with Jason Smith on ESPN Radio at ESPNRadio.com, presented by Progressive Insurance. From 4 wheels to 18 wheels, Progressive Commercial Auto Insurance can save your small business money. Contact your local independent agent or visit ProgressiveCommercial.com. Now that's Progressive. Maybe the happiest person in the world on Monday was LeBron James. Why? Because LeBron can write a thank you note to Sidney Crosby saying, "Dear Sidney, thank you for taking over in handshake snubgate, so people will stop asking me why I didn't shake hands with the Orlando Magic."